All right, guys. So I need your help with this one because our favorite politician, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is back in the news. And I was not going to talk about this because I felt like it was playing into AOC's hands. However, as you guys know, AOC has been on social media, on Instagram, as usual, basically talking about the trauma that she says that she experienced during the Capitol event. Now, she's even went as far as to compare it to that of a survivor of sexual assault. And I just want to make it very, very clear early on in this video that I do not condone any type of sexual assault. That it is a very serious crime. There are very serious allegations. And people that commit such a crime like that should be punished to the maximum extent of the law. And I'm also not discounting the fears that AOC may have had. However, conservatives on Twitter, right, have started to call AOC out on her narrative because there's some discrepancies that are going on in her story that need to be addressed. Now, it's even got to the point where they're now calling AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Smollett because something fishy may be going on here. So just to recap you on the story here, AOC went on social media and talked about the trauma and the pain and the fear that she experienced during the Capitol incident, okay? Now, AOC was evacuated from her office, right, and ended up in Congressman Katie Porter's office, according to her story, because of a potential bomb threat in the building that she was in. Now, Jack Posobiec, who's been going back and forth with AOC and essentially trying to expose her on this, pointed out something interesting, which is that the Capitol building is all the way up here, which is where most, if not all, of the mob was. And then down here, you have AOC's office that she was evacuated from, and then you have Representative Katie Porter's office that she reportedly went to. Okay? So, as we can see here, guys, it's not hard to see that these offices are in very different areas. Now, AOC has strongly implied in her story that she was heavily, right, in the midst of all the action. Okay? And even as so far as to have Newsweek write a story that basically says that rioters were actually trying to enter her office or did enter her office. Okay, and they went on this whole thing saying that AOC told him this. All right. Now, again, people started to piece the pieces together and said, this ain't right. Okay, this is not right. Okay, so Nancy Mace called out Newsweek on this discrepancy and basically said AOC made it clear she didn't know who was at her door. Breathless attempts by the media to fan fictitious news flames are dangerous. 100% agree with that. My door is 2 doors down. Insurrectionists never stormed our hallway. Egregious doesn't even begin to cover it. Is there nothing MSN won't politicize? And she's absolutely 100% right about that. However, this politicization has been fueled by Newsweek because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has been pushing this narrative. Right? She's been pushing this narrative that her life was in danger. She's been pushing this narrative that she's almost was murdered. Now, again, like I said at the beginning of this video, guys, I'm not here to question, did Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez actually fear for her life? I believe she did. And the reason why is because I watched the video of Katie Porter in which she was explaining what happened from her side of the story. She said AOC knocked on the door. She came in and AOC was basically panicking. Right? She was trying to find a place to go, right? A door to open. Somewhere to get because she felt that her life was in danger, right? That she actually was panicking, right? And Katie Porter saying that. So I do believe that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez definitely feared for her life. Now, the question is this. It's not whether or not AOC feared for her life. The question is AOC gaslighting and using her fear to try to push her politics and her political agenda in Congress? And I think the answer to that question is definitively yes. And this is why I've said in the past that this whole back and forth about MTG and the riots and what happened at the Capitol, that stuff is a distraction. Again, I think it's bad. I condemn what happened at the Capitol. I condemn any sort of violence. I want to make that clear. But it is a distraction that the Democrats are using in order to divide Republicans and to try to push the narrative that everybody in the party is an extremist. Okay? That's what AOC is trying to do. Because again, I already told you, I do think AOC feared for her life. However, where I have the problem and where I cross the line is that I would feel sympathy for her, but I can't anymore because you're pushing the agenda too far. Okay? You're trying to smear all conservatives of people who would do something like that. And that's just not true. And I think that in and of itself is using fear to try to make people fearful of conservatives. And that's just wrong. Okay? At the end of the day, I'm not here to judge how fearful you were. But when you start to tell a story and you start telling a story and you try to demonize a police officer that was there to save you and to say that, oh, well, he was a white man and the way he was looking at me, you know, I just didn't know what he was going to do to me. I mean, the thing is that, you know, she doesn't even try to back off of these claims to say, you know, it's not about the fact that he was white. It's not about the fact that he was a police officer. It's just, you know, I was just scared. I was scared and this is how I reacted. And I think I probably, you know, overreacted a little bit considering the actual situation. And I wish that's what she would have said, but that's not what she's saying. She's using this fear that she says she experienced in order to push a narrative against conservatives that's ultimately going to hurt Republicans in Congress and that could potentially smear conservatives across the country. That's what she's doing. And at the end of the day, you know, for me, I really do feel like this is a situation where I can't say that she's making it up, but what I can say is that she is using it as a political tool. And this is something that the left does all the time, right? The left thrives off of playing with people's emotions, right? They don't thrive off of logic, because if they thrived off of logic, I mean, hell, they wouldn't even have a party, okay? Nothing about the Democrats is logical. They're all about emotion. And AOC is trying to play up to her crowd, okay? She's trying to play up to the media. She's trying to victimize herself as somebody who almost lost her life, which, like I said, again, if there was a bomb threat, I can't say that she didn't. I can't say that, you know, she should have been scared. But again, it's one thing to be fearful of your life. It's another thing to use that fear to push an insidious political agenda that's going to unfairly categorize people who had nothing to do with what happened and people who condemn what happened. And that's how you lose support. That's how you become a more polarizing figure. Remember, guys, AOC has basically been on a crusade trying to smear congressmen, Republican congressmen, who carry on Capitol grounds. She's basically trying to take away the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding, gun-holding congressmen simply by using fear. Okay, this was never an issue before what happened on January 6th. None of this was ever an issue. All of a sudden, after that, now all of a sudden, congressmen carrying guns is an issue. And see, that's where the agenda comes in. Okay? People who, like me, who may have understood where AOC was coming from a little bit, right, with this story, I understand where she's coming from. I now can't even feel for her because I know that she's using this to push a political agenda. I know that now there's credible evidence to say that she's exaggerating this event. Okay? And that maybe, you know, she's doing this for political reason. Guys, it's been a month. And again, I'm not trying to, you know, downplay the event, nothing like that. But at some point in time, we can't just keep playing this up. And AOC wants to keep playing it up. And that's why I keep saying about these Republicans. You going along with AOC, going back and forth with her, you're playing her game. You're playing her game because the more you say, the more you try to defend yourself, the more you defend yourself, the more divided Republicans are about this issue, the more AOC can say, point and look and say, hey, look at them. They not even sure how they feel about the incident. They're letting people that we're alleging to be involved in this, who actually weren't, like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, they support them staying in Congress. Look at them. And this is why I say, you know, people like MTG, Lauren Boebert, these new congressmen, freshman Republicans, stop going back and forth with people like AOC. Her fan base, her supporters, they don't care about facts and logic. They don't care about where she was actually located. They're going to believe every single word that comes out of her mouth. All they care about is emotion. AOC knows that. That's why she's continuing to play it up. Nobody has been more emotional about this incident than AOC. Okay? And there's a reason why, because AOC has an agenda. AOC, you know, she's a terrible legislator, but she is becoming a skilled politician in terms of how to rally public opinion. And I'm really tired of conservatives falling into this trap from AOC. We have to start ignoring her. And I'm on the same page. I got to start ignoring her, right? Because I've done more videos about AOC than probably any other Democrat. But she thrives off of conservatives going back and forth with her on stuff like this. Okay? And the more we legitimize this type of stuff, the more powerful she gets. Because everybody that responds to her is going to say, oh, so you are trying to put down her experience. You're a denier. You're trying to deny that she felt that she was in danger. And that's why I got to make it clear. I'm not denying that she was in danger. I'm not denying that she felt like she was in danger. I'm not denying that she felt like she was in fear. I just have a problem with her trying to politicize that fear and trying to smear people who have nothing to do with the incident. For her to continue to call for them to resign and to put public pressure on them to resign, and then, again, going out of her way a month later to continue to play up the emotions to try to get her way politically, it's a trap. That's all it is. It's just a trap. And Republicans are falling right for it. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share it. A Black conservative perspective. Peace.